Elena stood in front of the antique mirror she had just purchased from an estate sale. Its ornate silver frame glinted faintly in the dim light of her apartment. She ran her fingers over the intricate carvings and wondered about its history. As she turned away, she caught a fleeting movement in the reflection, but when she looked back, there was nothing unusual. Dismissing it as tired eyes, she decided to get ready for bed. The mirror began to trouble her in the following nights. Elena noticed shadows that didn't correspond to anything in her room and glimmers of movement. She told herself it was her imagination, a trick of the light, but the sense of being watched gnawed at her. One evening, curiosity won over her hesitation. She sat in front of the mirror, studying it. Her reflection seemed normal at first, but then she noticed it, a shadowy figure standing behind her. Panic surged through her body. Whirling around, she found she was alone in the room. Heart pounding, she turned back to the mirror. It was there again, closer this time, features becoming clearer. The figure was tall and gaunt, with blood-red eyes and elongated fangs. A vampire. Terrified, Elena backed away, but the reflection of the creature remained fixed, watching her with an eerie calmness. In a whispery voice, barely above silence, the vampire spoke. "The mirror is my gateway. I am bound to it, imprisoned by an ancient curse." Elena felt a chill run down her spine. "What do you want?" Her voice trembled. "Freedom," the vampire replied, "and blood." That night, she couldn't sleep, the vampire's eyes haunting her every thought. She researched the mirror and discovered it belonged to a reclusive nobleman in the 18th century, rumored to have dabbled in dark magic. The nobleman disappeared without a trace. The thought of breaking the mirror crossed Elena's mind, but she feared releasing the vampire into her world. Days turned into weeks, and the vampire's presence grew stronger. "Release me," it would whisper each night. Elena became a shadow of herself, drained by the constant fear and sleepless nights. Her only solace lay in the daylight when the vampire's power waned. Desperation drove her to an old bookshop where she found a tome on ancient curses. Within its pages, she discovered a ritual to bind the vampire permanently. Armed with the knowledge, she prepared for the night. As midnight approached, Elena stood before the mirror one last time. The vampire appeared, eyes gleaming with anticipation. She began the incantation, her voice steady despite the terror gripping her heart. The ritual demanded a sacrifice, and as she uttered the final words, Elena felt herself growing weaker. With a final, triumphant cry, the vampire was sucked back into the mirror, its figure fading into the shadows. The mirror cracked, its surface splintering into 1,000 pieces, each reflecting a fragment of the nightmare. Elena collapsed, exhausted but victorious. The mirror remained shattered, its power broken. For the first time in weeks, Elena slept peacefully, knowing the vampire was imprisoned forever.